Hi everyone! My name is Amanda and today I have a very exciting video to share with you guys because today's video will be kind of a continuation of last week's video because today I will be sharing with you 10 of my best study tips to study more effectively and with more motivation. If you missed last week's video, it was about making time to read even though you have a lot of studying to do, and then I thought that I would share my tips of how to study effectively and how to really get things done once you sit down to do that studying. I'm in my final year doing the IB diploma program and I study quite a lot, so I have some tricks up my sleeve. So without further ado, here are some tips that might help you out. So the number one tip that I always give to people is to make lists. And I don't just mean make a to-do list of what to do, like a normal list. I mean make a long list. Because if you have an essay to write, for instance, if you just write on your to-do list, write an essay, then that task will just feel so huge and you don't know where to start and it will just feel very overpowering. But if you instead divide that essay into smaller parts, and I mean like really small parts, then you can tick things off very quickly and you'll feel like you actually accomplished something even though you did very little, but you'll know exactly what you need to do and you will feel accomplished once you get to tick things off. The next tip is to take breaks every 30 minutes. So put your phone on airplane mode or whatever, and then you put on a timer for 30 minutes, and then once that 30 minutes is gone, you stop studying and break for 5 minutes. Do something else, be on your phone or make a cup of tea or walk around the house or whatever. Just stop studying after that 30 minutes. Like really do that. Take 5 minutes, take a 5-minute break, no more, and then put a timer on another 30 minutes and 5 and 30 and 5 or however long you want to study. It's scientifically proven that your brain can't really keep the concentration on one thing for too long, so 25 to 30 minutes is approximately that time span that your brain can really work effectively. So with only a 5-minute break, your brain gets rejuvenated and then you can jump back into the studying again with a refreshed mind. The next tip is also really a big one because it's all about studying with friends. I mean, take advantage of each other's strengths, and everyone gets so much out of studying together because you can help each other out, you can discuss things, and when you make study groups, really make them count. Because I mean, reading in your books, that you can do at home. But if you want to really get something out of your study group, decide a topic that you'll discuss and then everyone read up on that beforehand, and then when you actually meet, everyone has some background facts that they can bring, and people can bring questions that they don't understand, and when you explain things to others, you actually understand it better yourself. So study groups are just a really good way to widen your own knowledge but also help each other out and discuss things, and the key is to do it effectively. Next one might be obvious, but it's don't procrastinate. And I mean, it's so freaking hard and I struggle with it a lot, of course, but sometimes you just have to sit down and do the freaking work and then have fun afterwards, because there's nothing worse than sitting the day before with things you haven't done yet and stressing, because then your work won't be as good and you'll just be really stressed out and you'll feel like crap, basically. The next tip is to stay organized, and this is also one thing that I don't really struggle with, but it sometimes takes over my actual studying because I think it's so fun to sit with my calendar and to paint and to color things in, and that's my way of procrastinating. But staying organized is key. Even if you have your calendar on your phone or a physical one, always keep track of your deadlines, keep track of things you gotta do. Also, make sure that you have organized notes, color them, color coordinate them if that's your thing. I really think that it makes me more motivated if I have really pretty notes. And also make lists and everything like that, because it will help you out to keep track of your things and stay organized. Next tip is a bit of a special one because it's not for everyone, because I think this is really motivational, but some of my friends just think that it's really stressful, and that is to follow really these study motivation pages on Instagram, on Facebook, on Tumblr or Twitter or whatever, because there are so many pages that are called like study motivation, study BLRR and things like that, and they post pictures of their notes, of their organized notes, of their colorful everything, and it just makes me really motivated to organize my own notes and all of that. But like I said, some of my friends think that that's just really stressful, so it's not for everyone, but it makes me really motivated. Next tip goes hand in hand with don't procrastinate, and that is just get started. That's the hardest thing usually, because once you actually get started, it's not that hard. I mean, start small, but start. And if you implement the first tip with the long lists and you break the tasks down, then getting started won't feel as daunting. Next tip is to exercise, and I've gotten really into exercising this year lately, and I've noticed that it makes me feel so much happier and healthier, and I find it easier to concentrate when I sit down to study, because you give your brain a break and you really think about something else, because at least I do when I go running. I can't really think of anything than how tired I am. So find a type of exercise that helps you relax and think about something else than studying, because your brain really needs that break. The next tip is to have a study space, and this was something that I struggled with a lot last year, and I studied quite a lot in my bed, and that's not really optimal, because your bed should be your place to sleep or to read perhaps, but I used to study everything in my bed, and my bed just became a very... it wasn't associated with sleep anymore. I couldn't really relax because it was my sleeping space and my studying space, and that just didn't work out for me. So find a place in your house or at a cafe or somewhere that is set aside just for studying, because when you go to that place, you'll actually sit down and your body will know that this is the place for studying. So the second to last tip is to find study music that works for you. I have a Spotify list that I will try to link down below. I don't really know how it works, but I'll try. And there is just music on there that doesn't have any lyrics, music that is really calm, and there's classical music, and it's a bit of everything. So if you want to check out that list, it will be hopefully a link in the description box. If that's not your cup of tea, try to find a type of music that works for you, or if you prefer silence, that's up to you, but it works very well for me because it really helps me concentrate and just shut the world out. So my final tip is to study in the morning and not in the night. And when I first heard this tip, I was like, are you crazy? I can't study in the morning, I'm so tired and I'm more effective at night and blah blah blah. And that might be true and that might feel true, but at least for me, I really noticed that I started to lose my concentration at about 8 o'clock at night. So that's when I started going up earlier in the morning. For me it works like this, because most days at school I start at 9:30 a.m. and then I just put my alarm clock at 6 o'clock and I go to school. I'm there at 8 and then I have 1.5 hours to study, and that's actually when I'm the most effective. That's when I usually get the most things done. So that was actually all the tips I had, and I'm sure you've heard about some of them before. Take the ones that will work for you. All of them of course won't. Take the ones that will work with your learning style and try some out and see if they'll help. If you have any studying tips, leave them in the comment section below, because we're all here to help each other out. And I really hope you find these tips helpful and happy studying, I guess. And I will be back with another normal book video next week, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye.